Thanks for joining Hoops Hitting Gems podcast. I'm your host, David Jones. Want to thank everybody from joining again as usual. Episode number 35. Man, this is our year anniversary. We've been doing this for a whole year. As usual, we have another great show as usual. What we're going to do something a little bit different starting out this time. We're going to introduce post-grad women's basketball to everybody that's not familiar with it. So our first guest is Coach Samantha Gilbert. We'll have three other coaches coming on as well. But I wanted to start off with Coach Gilbert because this Middle Georgia Prep is going to be a new post-grad women's program starting in 2022 in that season. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Can't complain. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Thank you for joining the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So what we want to do before we get into women's post-grad basketball, I want everybody to know that you're a different breed, so to speak. You coach on the men's end right now on the post-grad side. You're an assistant, and you're getting your feet wet before you jump in on the women's side next year. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct.
Okay. So before we get into women's post-grad, tell us a little bit about your experience and how you came to be at Middle Georgia Prep.
So I started off, I had my own college career. I played my 4 years at Thomas University.
Okay.
I went through, I've always loved basketball. I didn't realize how much I loved basketball until it ended. And then I worked for a year, and I was presented the opportunity by someone who was a part of Coach Tribbey's coaching staff last year because we attended the same college.
Okay.
I hadn't quite decided to go into the coaching world yet, so it was definitely something that was brand new to me. And then I came up here to Barnesville, Georgia, where Middle Georgia Prep is located, and I got to meet Tribbey and his staff and get an understanding of what prep schools are, what his purpose is, and everything like that. And it's just the Coach Tribbey, everything he said and everything that he wanted to do with the program, and as well as that's when he first mentioned to me is starting a women's program, because that's something, of course, that I'm more into coaching women than men, even though I am helping with the men's team, which is definitely teaching me a lot so far. So this is currently my first year coaching, as I am new. I'm, right out of college. Hasn't been very long. So he's really getting my feet wet and teaching me the coaching world and making sure that I'm, meeting the right people and understanding what it is to be a leader. He's a great man, and just everything that he's accomplished and he's done, and the family environment that he portrayed and that I've seen since I've been here so far is what really caught my attention. And I realized that, he's successful and he does what he says. And when he has an idea in his mind, he actually puts it into action. And if I surround myself with people like that, then I know that I can be successful as well. So he, is a major part of why I bought into this program and why I decided to go the coaching route, because I just realized that I really miss basketball, and I felt that I should be able to, the knowledge that I've learned on and off the court from my years of being an athlete, that I should be able to, hand that down to young ladies and men who are younger than me, who might not have necessarily the right guidance or anything like that. So if I can be a help to them, that's exactly what I want to do.
Sounds real good. Sounds good. So when is this program supposed to kick off next year?
So it'll kick off the new season August of 2022. Once, school starts up the beginning of August, that's when we'll expect all our prospects and those who are signed to be a part of the MGP women's team to come on campus. We share campus with Gordon State College, the same as the men's program as well. So we'll expect them to be here August. We'll, start off right away and get rolling.
Okay, sounds good. Now, let me ask this. What type of prospect are you looking for when you're out there looking right now? Because I know you're going to be recruiting, about 12 or 13 young ladies. What type of recruit was going to catch your attention?
The main things that I'm looking for, I've already gone out. I already have some prospects. I've already started the process, of course. Get rolling right away. It's just attitude and effort, because I believe those are two things that can be really hard to teach. And when you have a prospect that already has the right attitude, the right effort, and it's just a great team player, everything else is just a lot easier to teach and start developing them, because those are usually the type of young ladies who are really bought into the process and listen and take into everything you say, even when it's something new or it's something that they're not used to. When they have the right attitude and effort, the fact that they trusted us to begin with and signed with us to be a part of our program, that's just going to make it that much easier for them to continue to keep the right attitude, even when they feel like they're having days when things aren't going their way. As long as they just keep putting in maximum effort, that's all that really matters. So that's definitely the main attributes that I look for when I'm going out and trying to scout for different prospects.
Good. Okay. So when you're out, so when they get to Middle Georgia Prep in August, what should they expect when they get there?
Well, they should expect, of course, we're going to do lots of team bonding, because I believe, it's a team sport. It's not about individuals. And we also want to provide a family environment. So they should expect just, really getting to know each other. Intense workouts, conditioning at the beginning is definitely crucial. And then being a part of Gordon State, most of our prospects will be taking classes as well. So they got to expect that, they're going to not only have a full athletic schedule with workouts, practice, and individuals and all that comes with it, that they're also got to be able to maintain their time management with their classes as well. And they're expected to, since they're going to be a part, Gordon State is, kind enough to help share their resources and facilities with us, that they're become respected ladies on campus, that when any of the staff, a part of Gordon State, as well as our staff and coaching staff on the men's side and the women's side, that whenever they see any of our players, that they know, they don't have any trouble to expect out of them. They know that they're respectable. They know that that these young ladies, when they walk into the room, that they're going to do what they're told. They're going to put maximum effort into everything, whether it's basketball, whether it's schoolwork, whether it's, being a helping hand or a shoulder to lean on, especially when it comes to being teammates. Because like I said, it's a family environment. We want them to be able to trust each other, because the more they trust each other outside of the court, the easier it's going to be for them to trust each other on the court.
Now you just touched something that I definitely want a lot of people that are possibly looking into this, possibility for their daughters. So will they be taking recovery credits, or will they be going to college, or will they have the option to do both?
They'll be going to college. It is, Gordon State is a JUCO, so they'll be offered, as long as they take under 12 credits, so they're not considered a full-time student, because then that way it won't affect any of their eligibility when they get sent over to a 4-year college. They'll still have all their years to be able to play, but then it's also getting them a step ahead. So when they do get to college, they already have some college credits figured out. If they do have a lower GPA, it is also a chance to be able to, get their GPA up. But when we're looking for those athletes who are given maximum effort, it's usually those young ladies who already have a pretty well GPA coming out of high school. So that won't be an issue coming into college, even though, the transition from high school to any type of college level, even though we're post-grad, it is college classes. It's going to be a change. It's going to be a difference. But having the coaching staff, we're always going to have their back. And we've also are individuals who've gone through it ourselves. So we know, what college professors are looking for. We know what to expect. So whenever they have any questions or anything like that, that's what we're here for. We're here to help them and make sure that they're successful in everything that they do.
Nice. I like that. So now that you mentioned you all sharing the facility with Gordon State, which, by the way, is a very nice facility. I was just there yesterday, as you know. I want to ask, so let's ask this schedule-wise, because as we both know, post-grad women's is just kicking off and gaining momentum. The NETSAC is really the only the only league up in the Northeast that really has an established league. So you guys are going to have to play like JUCOs and a few women's programs like your IMGs, your Mount Verds, your Buena Vistas, and then you're going to have to play in probably some JUCO showcases, post-grad JUCO showcases, correct?
Yes, you pretty much hit it right on. We'll look forward to getting our girls into, like you said, JUCO jamborees and showcases so that they have the opportunity to play in front of college coaches and also have the opportunity to go against, other college teams so they can realize what, again, like it's always a jump from the next one level to the next, going from high school to college, whether it's JUCO. We'll try to find NAIAs as well so they can just understand the difference and the intensity that it takes to be able to play on the college level. Of course, we'll be going against other prep schools as well. Any school who or a program that's willing to, take on the challenge to play us next year. We're here for it. We're all for it.
You for the smoke, as they say. You for the smoke.
All of it.
Okay. And you know what? The thing I like about Middle Georgia Prep and what Tribbey does is it's connected to a JUCO. You don't see that too often with a lot of postgrads. Some of them be connected to maybe a church and they do some online schooling, but you guys actually have the real deal where, they're actually going to school. And like I said, I just said it a moment ago, Gordon State is a beautiful campus. It's a little out there, but it's a beautiful campus, really nice. When I pulled up, I was like, oh man, this is nice. I like this. Now, let me ask this, and just out of curiosity, where they played yesterday. And so when I was doing my online research, Gordon State actually plays in another gym besides that one.
Correct. So they have a newer gym. The gym that you were at yesterday is the old gym. It's the main one that we usually use, but there is a new gym as well that's right next to it. You just got to walk out the doors and it's the building right next door. It takes less than a minute to walk from one gym to the other. We also have access to that gym because it's open to all students. Closes, I believe, at 9:00 at night. And we have access pretty much almost whenever we want for the old gym. So whenever our athletes want to get in the gym, whether it be by themselves, with each other, with other teammates, or with a coach, it's whenever you want. Like, ball is life. We're looking for gym rats. We want them to be in there, whether it's early morning, late at night, in the afternoon, whatever suits you, whenever it's your favorite time to go get a good workout in, we're here for it. Just send me a text and I'm there, because it's all about these young ladies and their success and helping them grow. So if they want to get in the gym extra, that's what we're here for. I'm all for it.
And see, I knew this was coming, and this is one of our loyal listeners. And actually, when I mentioned the NetSac school in the Northeast, Coach Dove is one of our loyal listeners, and he coaches the girls team up in the NetSac, Winston Academy. And look, the first thing he's asking, would y'all travel north?
Oh, of course. If we can make it up there, we're all for it. If you're, ready to put us on the schedule,
I'll
never back down from a challenge. Anything like that.
Listen here.
We can get them on the schedule.
For that one. Trust me. Dove, you want that smoke, Dove? I don't know if you want that smoke already. They coming for y'all. And that'll be a first for MGP to go play in NetSac school. That'll be huge. Now,
it's a possibility. We're gonna, whatever we can make work. We're gonna do our best, of course.
Now I will say this: Tribbey may be in the background having a fit because that's gonna be that budget. That budget's gonna be something mean. But listen, if this game was to go down, and you all see it here first on Hoops Hidden Gems podcast, this honestly would be a first. To be honest with you, all jokes aside. If you guys were able to play a NetSac school, that would be huge, not only for you all, for Dove and them as well, because, they don't get to play teams from the South that much. So that would be, oh my gosh, I would be there for that one. Trust me. I would definitely be there for that one. If they could make that, Trippy, I'm gonna put you on blast next. Now that Dove said that, when you come on next, Trippy, had that money ready, Trippy, to get them young ladies up there. But
hey, when we put our minds to something, if I want to make it work, then I'm gonna find a way to make it work.
Absolutely.
So definitely, Coach, since you're listening, if you want to stay in contact, we can see what we can work out.
Okay. And well, before I go further, how can people reach you online?
Okay, I'm on Twitter and I'm on Instagram. So
what's your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is at Samantha_Ellen. Samantha just spelled regular, and then Ellen is ELLYN. And I'm on there as my name above it will be Sam Coach G, and that's me.
Okay, good. Listen, boy, I wasn't expecting this, but man, honestly, that would be awesome for both of you guys because it's never happened before. So outside of you playing in some of the planned showcases that you have, we're going to keep that under wraps right now with some of those planned showcases. But your schedule is going to be amazing. I mean, between playing the JUCOs, the NAIAs, playing the showcases where you're playing against some of the top JUCOs in the country. And if you can get Mount Vernon and IMG girls and DME's girls on your schedule, to be honest, in the next year or so, you're going to have Georgia and Alabama, at least in South Carolina, women running to you, because this is going to be a whole new opportunity that people haven't seen out there. And my hat's off to you. My hat's off to Tribbey. I mean, this is a great opportunity. And the fact, and I'm going to tell you what impressed Dove as well, is you guys are connected to a community college. That's one of the biggest things. Like, Winston is really like one of your upper tier type, post grads in the Northeast. And so for them to see that, they're all for playing you guys because they know you guys are legitimate and not, quote, a club team. You know what I mean? So
and that's shout out to Coach Tribbey, because he's the one who's laid the foundation and got the name of Middle Georgia Prep out there. So, without him, none of this would be happening right now. So, it's really a big shout out to Coach Tribbey, because that's the man with the plan, and he always makes it work. So, I'm blessed to be able to have met him and had this opportunity to be able to work alongside him and be the start, help with the start of something great.
Absolutely. And like I said, Dove is lighting up the comment section because he can't stand club teams. And he wants something. If he's going to play, he wants something legitimate. So as soon as he heard what you just said, I knew that was coming. And look, I was like, slow down, Dove, slow down. We'll get it together, Dove. But, I'm so happy for y'all because, number one, it's in Georgia, and it's a valuable option in Georgia. That's number one. Number two, you guys are legitimate. And with you guys being legitimate, let's put basketball to the side. They're getting classes from Gordon State JUCO that are transferable credits to any four-year institution. So I think that's awesome as well. And, like Tribbey knows, like I'll tell you, just like I tell Tribbey, man, I'm behind you 100%, whatever I can do, to see this take off for you guys. Trust me, I know I'll be getting calls from you like, hey, I'll be like, listen, give me a call whenever, what you guys need between you and Tribbey. So, we already got a little group chat going. It's whatever, I'm all for this. Tribbey knows I support him. I support you. And I think this is going to be great. And man, the one thing I got to say about last night, boy, Barnesville was out there rocking and rolling. The fans, goodness,
we had to show out. We had to.
Man,
I'm so glad you came out.
Completely shocked. And I tweeted about that. I said, MGP is feeding off the crowd during this game because, as we know, that was an excellent game last night with TSF. And man, I was telling Locke, I was like, man, they down here showing out. I was like, this must be the biggest thing in town here.
That's just the support and the love and the fact that Tribbey has made a name for him. Coach Tribbey's made a name for himself. And, he's respected and well known on campus, and just he's the prime example. And that's why we want our girls to come in, and that's why we have our boys come in as well. And we want them look what you can accomplish, and look at the support and love that you get when you are respected and you carry yourself in a certain way. So it starts at the top, you know, and he's the perfect example. He's the top, and it trickles down. And like you said, you could see, you know, we had a great crowd come out, and they put on, they didn't want to support their fans, and that's what we did. It was definitely an intense game, and that's also you know, it's great experience for me as well, just being able to be a part of the coaching staff and be a part of a team that works so hard and has so much talent, and being able to realize and see his coaching skills when it comes to having close games, and what should be done, what should be said, how to react to the refs, how to react to the other coaches when things aren't going your way, and things like that. So it was a great learning experience for me. And then also, you know, it's just we're continuing to spread just MGP and what we are as a program.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, thumbs up to you guys for everything you guys are doing, and you know, I gotta call you Coach Gilbert because we are on the show, and instead of Sam. But Coach, I'm telling you, I can't wait to see what happens next year when you guys get everything going. You know, I'll be down there to support, and you know, especially when you play some of these big teams, you know, NAIAs, you know, JUCOs, the showcases. And I'm dead serious. If you guys get to play Winston, I am there for that one. You know, it's a nice ride because it's in Connecticut. But if you guys can pull that one off, to be honest, that's going to be groundbreaking what you guys are doing. If this game can be pulled off, it will be groundbreaking. And I would definitely want to be a part of anything groundbreaking for. I mean, I advocate for men's basketball, but I advocate for women's basketball as well, as you already know. So, you know, I can't wait to see what happens. And so, you know, that's why I wanted to bring you on to introduce people to, you know, the program in its infancy, because in a couple years, you know, you probably gonna have that thing popping down there, you know, like the Tribbey has on the inside. And I can't wait to see that. And, you know, I had no idea this was going to happen, and a possibility of a game of this nature possibly happening next year already. But you know, I'll see what Tribbey says when he comes on in a moment. But Sam, thank you so much for coming on. You know, I just wanted to introduce you to the whole audience out here. You know, this won't be your last time on here, because when one of those big games get ready, you know, I'm gonna bring you on and be like, oh, it's time to hype it up.
Oh, and I'll be ready. Don't you worry, I'll be ready.
Okay.
You know, if we can get something like that going on next year, I'll make sure you're one of the first to know, for sure.
I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. I mean, like I said, now everybody knows who Coach Gilbert is. So when she pulls up to these girls' games, you know, over the next 2-3 months, you'll know who she is now.
For sure. You know, I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on here. You know, it's a blessing, you know, having people like you be able to continue to help spread the word about what we're trying to do, and having that support, because, you know, support is always important no matter what we're trying to do. So we really appreciate you.
Anytime, you know, like I said, I'm here anytime. You know how to contact me. Tribbey knows how to contact me, and you guys have my full support. Okay.
For sure. Thank you.
All right. You take care. You have a good one. Okay.
All right. Have a good night. You too.
All right. You too. That was Coach Gilbert. Man, I'm excited to see what this program, you know, does on the women's side, because a lot of people don't understand women's post-grad. It's still in its infancy stage, and it's starting to grow. And, you know, we'll talk some more about that in future shows, because as it grows, we want to be there and grow with it. Now, we're not going to go too much further. We're going to stay right with MGP. We're going to stay on the men's side. We got Coach Aaron Tribbey, who's the founder. Well, not the founder. He's the director of MGP. And so he's the one that spearheaded this whole women's thing. And he already has the men's side rolling as well. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well.
Hey, man, good to have you on, man. You know, we've been talking about this for a while. Hey, you got to get it, Samantha. She in your pockets already, trying to go to Connecticut.
I was listening to it. I was thinking to myself, why we got to go up north? Why can't they? You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, man, but
Why not? Why can't we make the trip?
In all seriousness, brother, that you would be the first to do that if that was to go down, man. That
for sure.
That right there would be a signature moment for the women's program from the jump, man. I'm like, geez. Now, I understand that money out of you. I'm like, whoo, man.
It's a trip.
Yeah, it's a trip. Hey, Dove, you might have to come off some ends to help them get up there, brother, if you want to make this happen.
Accommodations or something.
Yeah. So, listen, I would be excited to see that, man. But we're going to jump off the women's side, man, and bring the staple of MGP, what people know MGP about, man. Everybody knows Middle Georgia Prep from the men's side. I brought, Coach Gilbert on to introduce what's going to happen next year. But, man, I'm going to sit here. We're just going to have this barbershop conversation, man, and pick your brain, man, about how MGP, came about, how you got there. And, there's some other questions I want to ask as well, because I want parents to understand what you do and why you are set apart from other post grads. So, man, let's start with how you got there.
So I was an assistant coach at a junior college. I was actually an assistant coach at Gordon State College.
Okay.
I stayed there, and I was an assistant coach there. And then, kind of got the notions to go ahead and start my own post grad team. And it started off slow, and we got better and better as time went along. We started getting, first of all, the players I got early on, they weren't the most talented guys, but they worked extremely hard. So they kind of fit me. I've always been a guy who's kind of, I know it's cliche to say underdog, but I've always felt like the underdog. And so me and those players that I had early on, we kind of fit. We played really, really hard. And if we lost, we never really beat ourselves. We just might have not had enough talent, and things like that. But over the course of the years, we've gotten better. We've gotten guys that's been really, really talented, and they just needed a year to, get bigger, faster, and stronger, and get a little bit more experience and redefine their role that they would play at the next level. And so, we've kind of provided that platform, and so over the course of the years, we've just gotten better. Just gotten better every year.
Okay. Now, one of the things, Tribbey, one of the most important things I want to talk about tonight. I mean, we'll talk about the roster, we'll talk about your schedule. Man, I'm a big advocate on education, man. And with you guys being connected to a JUCO, first of all, that was my first trip down there. You dragged me down to Barnesville yesterday, and I was pleasantly surprised, man. I was like, man, this is nice, man. And then when I walked in there and when I was doing my research, I was like, wait a minute, they got another gym besides this one? That's a rarity on the JUCO side to have two gyms like that. And that other gym, man, I'm going to come back there and see a Gordon State game, because I was like, man, that other gym looks real nice.
It does. We're actually hosting a tournament, not a tournament, but we're hosting a showcase, a post-grad showcase there, and we're going to use both gyms. So maybe we can get back then. It's December the 14th. So
okay, yeah. Matter of fact, I think you're lucky on that one. I think the 14th is open for me on that. What day is that? A weekend or?
It's a weekend. I think it's a Saturday or Friday or one of those two. But we got a lot of teams from the Southeast coming out to play in that.
Okay, yeah. I'll definitely check that out, man. But back to this education piece of it, man. Because for me, that's what really impressed me about MGP, man. Like everybody's thing with post grad is it's the assumption that you're only doing credit recovery. You know what I'm saying? And you have that option to where they actually can go to Gordon State. Is that a requirement, or do you leave it up to the kids?
Every kid is different. It's not a requirement. Every kid, some kids come in, they need SATs and ACTs. Previously, these past couple of years, we haven't had to worry about that due to COVID. A kid might come in and what you talked about earlier, their GPA might be lower and they might need a class recovery, or they might be a foreign language that they need to get, or they just need to come in there and they could potentially leave with 18 credit hours going towards the degree that they're working towards. And so, we have a lot of different options for our guys and girls that come here.
Gotcha. So let me ask this, and I'm curious over this, man. So with you guys being connected to Gordon State, Does Middle Georgia, are you able to take financial aid as well?
We are. So, anything that you would typically do in school, we could typically do it here for you guys. So, first of all, there's a lot of great post grads, and I'm not taking shots at anybody. I'm just saying, in our scenario, anything that you leave with nothing but pluses when you come to Middle Georgia Prep. That's the goal, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
The goal not only for you to get better athletically, but to get better academically. And so, coming here, you can get all that. You can get financial aid. We have a cafeteria that's right there on campus, so you can eat properly. We have apartments that's off campus that's nice. You get your own bedroom, you get your own bathroom, you share a common space. So, it's in a gated community. Like, we have a really, really, really good situation. It's just a matter of guys and girls coming in and taking advantage of it.
And nice, man. I impressive, man. I mean, to be honest, I can only think of, outside of the NetSAC, a few where they have a college attached to them. They may have like an online school to them. And again, that's no shot, because some of those online schools are accredited. So, hey, that works as long as it's transferable. Hey, more power to them. But to have that brick and mortar right there, that's huge, man. That's something where MGP has that stands out from a lot of these other ones. And again, it's not a shot. It's just the truth. When you have something like that and parents that are bigger on education, you got to consider that. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. You got to consider, what type of schedule you play, what type of workout you guys are doing. Yeah, and all that stuff plays a part into this. But, for somebody like myself, if it was my son, my thing is, what type of educational component do you bring as well? And if you can answer like you just did right there, we definitely have to keep you, as an option, because, number one, you guys play. I think it's a staple of what you said earlier, man. Middle Georgia Prep, one of your big things that people know you guys about is you guys play extremely hard. Extremely hard. And that's, from jump ball to the final whistle. It's not, taking. And to be honest, I think that's how y'all got TSF, in my opinion, because that was a great game yesterday. But it looked like they got tired at the end, man, because you guys were relentless and relentless and relentless. And it went to double overtime. Great game. I was tweeting out about it the whole time. And one of my final tweets was, TSF went cold and you guys closed it out. Y'all closed it out with converting free throws, but it was that relentless pressure, relentless. And you know what that comes from? I watched you post about certain stuff like Hell Week and everything else. Like, you guys are in tip-top shape. And to see that pay dividends in that game alone, because TSF they're not no slouches. Everybody knows about TSF in Atlanta. So when it was tweeted out that, MGP got them, it speaks volumes, man. It definitely speaks volumes, brother.
Yeah, so, hopefully it moves us up a little bit.
Man, we're not even going to get into that. Tribbey, I done had people on my head all weekend about that, man. You know. But one of the big things, man, the most important things, and this will always quiet people when they're worried about rankings, my biggest thing is show me the edit at the end of the year where all your kids are going for your institution. That's the biggest thing.
That's the most important part of any post grad. If you want to win, because winning is symbolizing the work that we're putting in. Good, But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that all of our guys sign. Every single one that wants to go, we want to help them go. I don't take any kid that I can't help. Some post grads, and I'm not taking shots at anybody, but some people will take anybody. But I'm going to make sure I'm taking guys that can legitimately get to the next level.
Absolutely.
I never want to water down what we're trying to do as a program. If people come to see us, I want them to leave saying, man, I could take just about any of those guys and they can help my program. That's the goal.
Exactly. And I mean, you're getting there, brother. You are definitely getting there. And that'll lead to my next question, man. How long have you been at MGP? Let's start there.
For sure. So this is going to sound, man, it sounds crazy for me saying it, but 10 years. MGP has been going for 10 years. In the first 3 years, we were still kind of figuring it out, just being honest, trying to make it work and things of that nature. But the last 7 years, in my opinion, we've been really good. We've been relevant. We've sent 10 plus guys to college. The last 7 years, we've sent 10 plus guys every single year. The last 7.
And that's touching into my next question. In your 10 years, how many kids have you sent to 4-year institutions?
Man, I should have compiled a list, but I would probably say if we
give me an estimate.
A guesstimate would probably be about 35 plus.
35 plus?
35
okay.
plus. You know,
okay.
We've had a lot of guys who've had no offers coming out of high school, and we've been able to help them get to the point where they can go to a junior college. I play junior college basketball, so I respect the junior college rankings as well. You know, that's a really, really tough. That's why we go and play those different JUCOs in state, so our guys can get a understanding of just how tough it is to play junior college basketball. And so we've sent guys to junior colleges as well as other 4-year schools.
And I'm assuming, man, with you all being right there, you probably get to scrimmage Gordon State whenever you want to, man.
Well, not necessarily. You know what I mean? We don't want to break any rules or any guidelines that they might have.
Yeah. That you're right. I forgot about that. You're right. That is kind of a gray area there. So you would have to play other JUCOs instead of Gordon State. Got you. Okay, got you. Next question, man. When I really think about this, man, your roster for this year, man, you know, you got some kids, as we both know, that were unheralded, that have come out of nowhere, man. And, you know, that's on the first and second team that you have, brother. You know, I'll start with Keonjay Carter, bro. He lit Lawson State and Motlow State up, where people were like, Dave, who's this? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm going to ask Tribbey after the game. I was like, I don't know. I've never heard this guy. And to see him play like that. And now I knew about the camera. I knew about him. But, man, what you doing with him, brother, he got a chance now.
Yeah. I want to say our coaching staff is really, really good. Like, our program is a reflection of the people we got in it. You know, our players are really good, but our coaching staff is really, really good. DeMontrez Austin, this is his first year with us, and he's been leading the charge on our strength and conditioning. And, man, our guys have been stronger by leaps and bounds. And he's done an unbelievable job. San Martin Rosier, he comes in, he's done an unbelievable job with our guards as far as individuals. And then Coach G, she's been unbelievable. And then Coach O'Neal, we call him our big man whisperer. You know, the camera and guys like that, our bigs, they're doing so well. He's been the guy to help them with that. So our coaching staff is top notch. I'm just telling you. You know, I've been coaching staffs. I think ours can be in competition with just about anybody's.
Listen, I wouldn't wager against it. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, you guys are doing a great job down there, man. So, you know, it's always one of those things now where your name is being built up, Tribbey. Like, when there's anything in Atlanta, the first thing people are like, hey, is MGP in it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you guys are right there with TSF. You got MGP. You got CBA. You got some really good programs here. I know TD Prep is new, but honestly, I like the direction they're going. They need a couple more pieces, but when I saw them, I was like, hey, from the time I saw them in their inter squad scrimmage till now, I was like, okay, I see the improvement. And like you said, man, it's going to take some time. There's no way DeMond could expect that first year they just going to be icing everybody. It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. You know, it's a different game. It's not as easy as I'm sure from the outside looking in. People think, well, you can just show up, but no, there's some really good coaches at some programs. TSF has been our rival for quite a while, and they do an unbelievable job. It's not just rolling the ball out and going. You know, there's a lot of execution in their offense. You know, you got a game plan for them, and I know they game plan for us. You know what I mean? And so I think, you know, Rob Johnson, who's not there anymore, but he's a good friend of mine. He was unbelievable there at TSF. He did a great job.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that program is a good one. And, you know, I like to think we're a really, really good one in the Southeast. And so, you know, it's not as easy as just rolling it out. I'll tell you that.
Not at all. Not at all. Which leads to my next question, man. You know, people a lot of times, you know, one of the big things about this whole rankings thing, and a lot of people don't understand, we start talking about strength of schedule. And again, it's not here to pop shot anybody, but man, you guys are taking on any and everybody. You know what I'm saying? And you have a great schedule. So when you start looking at that schedule, and I know I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm ESPN, but knowing you and knowing the schedule that you play, you're playing some tough teams, whether it be post grad, whether it be South Georgia Tech or one of those other tough JUCOs, Lawson State. When I saw you guys, a couple weeks ago, you guys are playing some really good JUCOs, and man, hats off, Motlow State. And you're getting your guys that exposure. Tribbey, you guys didn't go to Florida this year, did you?
No, we did not. We didn't go to Florida this year.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Played a schedule from hell. Like, it's been a tough one, and we want to do that. I think some people try to schedule wins and things of that nature. I don't think that helps anybody.
Yeah.
For my guys to get better, they need to be challenged. And
absolutely.
We haven't played a game yet that I just felt like, man, this is a win. No worries. Our guys work hard, and we want them to be challenged. We want them to leave here being better players. We don't want them to get a false identity. We want them to leave here knowing that they played the best of the best that they could.
Now, before I get into my next question, one of the listeners shot out, and Dr. Love, Sammy did have some offers actually before he came to MGP. But, he still chose to go there to work on his game because some of those offers did come in late. They did come in late, and he was already locked in with Tribbey. And he decided, instead of deciding to go, he was like, hey, I'm going to work on my game still, which was a testament for you because some people are like, man, why don't you just take one of these offers? He was like, I'm going to go there and work on my game. You know what I mean? And you can see, number one, you can see Sammy getting stronger too. Whatever you're doing down there, you can see him getting stronger.
Sammy is a special dude. Like, he definitely had offers. He could have left. We had conversations during this time in the summer when he had these offers. Mm-hmm. And if he would have called me and said, hey, coach, I'm going to take this opportunity that I got over here, I would have respected it. I told him numerous times, I said, if you decide to go to any of these schools, I'm going to root for you. You just got an extra fan. It's not, it's nothing personal. I get it. And he's like, no, I'm coming to MVP. And he has a plan in place for himself, and I'm here to help him execute it. He wanted somebody who's going to push him. We're going to push him. He wanted somebody that was going to allow him to work on his game and get better. And he's done that. He's come in, he's worked hard. He's been a good leader for us. The guys on the team love him. He loves the guys on the team. He's going to be great at the next level. It's just a matter of where is he going to go and do that. And I think he's getting an opportunity, a full year, to truly look at his options, weigh them, and make the right decision for himself. And I think if he would have made a decision in the summer, it would have been one that was rushed. But I understand he worked hard and he deserved all those offers he got. And if he would have took any of those, I would have respected it. But I'm glad he's on my team right now.
I got you. Man, so you guys are going all the way to March. Is that correct?
Correct.
Are you guys – at the end of the year, are you playing in any of those national tournaments or not?
We are. We planning on, we want to go trophy hunting this year,
Okay.
Like, we're going to get better. Our players are going to continue to grow. They work hard. Our coaching staff works their tail off. We're going to get better. That's all well and dandy, but we will sure love to go and beat a few people along the way on this journey.
Okay.
And so we're going to go. If it's in the Southeast, we're going to go. If it's in the Southeast and it's a big time event, we're going to try to be there.
I got you, man. I got you. Hey, man, the one thing I love about you guys, I remember the first time I saw you guys, and I saw you guys play, who was it? Oh, you played Core 4.
Yeah.
You played Core 4. Yep. And it was up at ISA, and you had Big Josh. And I was like, man, that's a mountain of a dude right there. And, Core 4 had the hype. They had Gemma, and everybody was like, oh, this guy's a YouTube sensation. But you guys came in there with that lunch pail work ethic. And, man, I left there I'm from Pittsburgh. So me being from Pittsburgh, Pitt has, University of Pittsburgh, their basketball team has that lunch pail work ethic. So, when I saw you guys play, and Madre can mention this as well, I love teams like that are just pound the boards, pound the boards, just at it, relentless. And when I saw you guys play, there's a couple other teams that have that, that same mentality. That's why if it's up to me, I'll put you up against those teams because I just want to see almost like a football match, like a Ravens versus Steelers game where you guys are just going at it. And that's not to say I don't want to see good basketball, but I love that style of play. And that style of play, at the end of the day, if you're not ready for it, man, no lead is safe. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. No, I mean, I think that's the way you play basketball, especially at this level. We're all we're all in the pursuit of something. When you're in the pursuit of something, man, I don't think you can finesse your way through it. You know what I mean? You gotta go get it. Anything in life that's worth anything is hard, and you gotta go about it like that, And so, we're big on being tough. You talk about Hell Week and things like that. I think we set the tone early on that, if you're going to be here, if you're going to play for Middle Georgia Prep, you got to be tough. You got to do all the little things that matter because that's what's going to help you win. Hitting the floor for loose balls, boxing out and rebounding, guarding your man, helping and then recovering, tagging the roll, all the little things. I could talk all day. But, those are the things that we try to harp on, a lot of guys that come in and they just want to score, but it's more to basketball than that.
But Tribbey, one of the things, everything you just touched on, without you even having to say it, that prepares those guys for the next level, man. You know what I'm saying? That prepares them for the next level. And coaches want kids like that. They don't want prima donnas to come in and say, oh, I'm going to hit 40 and I don't do nothing else. You know what I'm saying? They want those guys that are going to dive on the floor. They want those guys that are going to be tough and gritty. You know what I'm saying? Like my man Huff. Huff, that's Huff style player right there. You know what I'm saying? Like when I look at what you have, if you have a kid that's talented for Huff standards, he would take him because that style of play, because that's Huff style. That's that, bring your lunch bucket with you because it's going to be a long day. You know what I'm saying? And I love that style of play. I love it. And, it's just one of those things where it's getting those guys ready. Like you're not just putting out there some cones and go through the legs and cross over and go to the bucket and dunk so everybody can say, no, you're giving them the full what it takes on the next level because, like I said, you've been there, man. You've been there. This is 10 years. I didn't even know it was 10 years. I thought it was like 5 or 6. I didn't know that. You're getting old, man. You're getting old.
I know. I'm not slowing down, but it's all good. I get better with age, I think. So.
Oh, man, absolutely. Absolutely. Man, one of the other things I wanted to talk about real quick, I want to talk about your roster for this year, man. And some of those studs you got this year that are college ready, man. Let's touch on that a little bit, man.
For sure. Man, where do you want to start?
Hey, this is your show, man.
Sure. We've got this is gonna sound crazy. We got 30 guys on our roster total.
Okay.
And when I say this, I really mean this. I don't think I know we're gonna go 30 for 30 this year. I think all 30.
Okay. So, Tribbey, you telling me that edit's gonna come out the end of the year where all 30 guys are going either JUCO, D3,
yes.
D2,
yes.
NAI, or D1?
Yes. I believe that 100%. And it's because we got the one thing that the most important ingredient to anything is being a good person to me, right? And all of our guys are good people. They are hardworking guys. They come in, they give it all they got, and they're getting bigger, faster, and stronger, extremely coachable. And so, at the end of the day, that's what you need to win, And we watched us play two different games with two different groups. And would you say that those groups were pretty good?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Listen, I'll sign off, man. Let me say this right there. Your second team that was at Lawson State, brother. You know what I'm saying? That's where I was like, who's this kid? When DeAndre came, I was like, because what was the first thing I said when I saw you? I was like, where's Sammy?
Right.
It was the first thing I said. He was like, nah, he's back home. And I was like, they about to get drove. That's what I was thinking in my mind. And boy, did I have to eat them words. Look, did I not walk into y'all locker room like, hey, bring him out here?
Right, for sure. I mean, listen, the group, for me, right, I know most post grads have a first group and a second group. I think all of these guys, we're just MGP. That's why if we lose, we say MGP lost. If we win, we say MGP won. And I get it because it's simpler to kind of follow it. But man, these guys, they work so hard. But that group that you're talking about, we've beat quality teams. We play TD Prep has pretty good players on that team, and we won. I think it was 114-94. It was a high scoring game, but
bro, that was a track meet. That was a track meet.
Yeah, I mean that group works hard, man, hard, and it's a lot of really, really good talented players.
Tribbey, they beat Lawson State, bro, and Martlow. Let's start there. No, shout out for beating TD Prep. You beat Lawson State and Martlow State, bro.
Yeah,
with that team. So like Kyle Jameson is saying, yeah, man, they're loaded. So when I saw, I was like, man, that's the second team. I was like, hold on a second. I mean, if you wanted to see me really shake something up, I could have easily put that team at number 20. Oh, and Twitter would have went on fire if I would have done that.
You could have. I'm here to argue with you that group is just as good as any other group in the state of Georgia. I would take that group with me, and I would not feel nervous playing anybody. And that's not to disrespect anybody else.
Oh, absolutely.
How I feel about that group.
It's a great group. Like, you know who I'd like to see that group play? And I'm going to say this out loud for people that are watching. I would love to see them play CBA.
I would too. We're going to make it happen.
I would love to see them because, hey, my man JB already been on Twitter like, let's set it up. And look, I'm just sitting in the background with my popcorn like, yeah, set that up. I want to see that too. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to get another Sunday like we just had. I thought the atmosphere was unbelievable.
Oh, man.
Great, right?
Listen, I was on your head about bringing me out to Barnesville. I was like, this is a drive, bro. But, man, I left there impressed, man. I was like, yo, not only with MGP, man, those fans from Barnesville support y'all big time, man. I was like, bro, let's be honest. They were just as much a part of that win last night as the players were. Because the players were feeding off those fans, man. And them fans were raw. They was getting after it, boy.
They was, man. I mean, kudos to them. And we had a DJ, we had a live DJ there.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. He did an unbelievable job keeping the crowd into it as well. The crowd was great. Yeah. We felt every time we scored, it felt like a touchdown, man.
Yeah.
It was great for us. And that's great to have home court advantage. Most post grads don't have that.
Yeah, you're right, man. It's just a couple parents here, there. No, bro. I was like, I'm looking around like I'm paying attention, but I'm looking around like, man, this atmosphere is crazy.
For sure. We had some alumni come in and come watch. And, that's just a testament to, like I said, we've had some really good people here. And they come in and they work hard, man. And so I'm lucky. I'm really, really lucky. I love what I do. Just fortunate, really blessed.
So, Tribbey, do you have any schools interested in any of the players right now? Take out Sammy. We know the deal with Sammy.
I'm gonna be honest, David. If I was to try to tell you everybody that's got interest in all our guys would be here for at least 5 minutes, because everybody that's on our roster of some sort has some kind of sort of interest. All 30, nobody. And I don't say that, and I'm not pulling on you, just messing with you, just saying it to say it because we're on live, but it's the truth. And some perform. I've got guys right now trying to get a few of our guys before the break, and so. We've got guys. I think we're going to wind up having at least 6 Division I guys minimum.
Okay, that's big words right there, Trent. That's big words. Now some of these folks watching, they may end up clipping this and be like, Tribbey said he's gonna have 6 D1s.
I believe in our work, and I believe in our players' work.
Okay.
We work daily. Like I said, we don't take any days off really. We might take 1 or 2 days off. We took today off, obviously, because we just had a long day, but yesterday. But we work hard. We come in here and we lift. Our guys lift every day, get individuals every day, and then have a team practice every day. So I'm betting on the work. Betting on the work, and I'm betting on the guys. And yeah, shout out to Big Zoe. Big Zoe is Georgia College is really, really big on Big Zoe right now. So
Okay.
He's working his tail off too.
Man, he's come a long way, brother. Long way. And like I said, you can see in that work y'all putting in. I think one of the biggest things, Tribbey, you just said it a moment ago, man, it's that player development. I mean, don't get me wrong, weights are a testament and, being in shape, but that player development is what sets it apart. Because, man, like I said, you guys are relentless, man. And, outside of being relentless, you got to have some skill with you as well, man. And you see the way those guys are going and the way their footwork and the way they're able to move, man. You can see like a lot of those, like, man, first person I'll say, and I have no shame in saying this because I know Locke will agree with me, man, what you doing with Bam?
Sure. Bam was special last night, especially in the last few minutes.
Yeah.
Step back three. I haven't seen that. I know people haven't seen that one. But
listen, Bam's offensive game, people look at Bam as a defensive guy, but Bam is starting to slowly pull out that offensive game, and that's what's going to get him looked at, man. To go with his defense. Don't get me wrong, because everybody knows Bam is a defensive guy, but when he can start putting that offensive game with his defensive game, then Tribbey, you may end up having that edit that you're talking about, bro.
It's going to happen. Even because again, Bam is a hard worker. Dude lives in the gym, He just simply needed an opportunity somewhere where he could, do more, grow. And all we do is keep it fundamental. We do a lot of fundamentals, and we just keep it consistent. To me, the key to greatness is consistency. And, we try to do everything we can to be consistent with every day. Come in, just work, and our guys do that. They've brought into that special group.
Absolutely. Hey, Tribbey, as you know, man, we could have probably talked for another hour, bro, but we got some other all-stars coming up behind you. But, man, you already know, bro, this won't be the last time I come to an MGP event or, have you on the show as well, man. This was a long time coming, man, and I appreciate you coming on, man, definitely.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you helping us get out what we're trying to do as a program. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you making that trip down to Barnesville, Georgia.
Definitely, man. Hey, listen, I'll be back. Look, not just for y'all, man. I'll be back there as one of the fans next time, man. I was like, bro, that was crazy. I was like, to be honest, I'm trying to think. I can only think of maybe 2 other post-grads, and that's outside of the state that I can think of that had that type of fan base. And that says a lot. Like pretty much the rest, a few people will come and, usually it's parents or one of their boys or their girlfriend or something like that will come, sure. But like when I first saw y'all play 2-3 years ago with Big Josh and them, man, Barnesville came up to ISA. I was like, I'm looking around like, well, there's a lot of people here today.
Yeah, that was a war.
Your folks.
I think I got kicked out of that game. I think that was a war.
Hey, listen, they were fine without you, man. They were fine. But like I said, man, I'm gonna definitely have you on the show again, man. I can't wait to see what you guys do at the end of the year. And man, definitely big shout out for starting that women's program, man. That's a game changer there, brother. And
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, that's going to be huge, man. All jokes aside, that's going to be huge. Like I said, we got some things in store to help you guys out, as you already know, man. And I can't wait to see you guys go up against that smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I look forward to it. I know our girls will be very much like us. We're not dodging anything. We're looking forward to it,
Definitely.
So, Coach Gilbert did a great job while she was on too.
Definitely, man. Confident, she got that game plan. She ready to get at it too. She got that MGP mentality. I wonder where she got it from.
Oh man, she's great. I love her.
Definitely. But Tribbey, like I said, man, we're gonna talk real soon, man. And brother, I appreciate you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And I support you 100%, man. Okay.
No doubt. Same here. Thank you, sir.
All right, man. Take care. That was Coach Tribbey, man. That's one of my guys, man. I'm big on post-grad or JUCO, NAIA, D2, D3. When I see somebody doing it the right way, man, they have my support. And Coach Tribbey's doing it the right way down there at MGP. Talking about somebody doing it the right way, our next guest, man, he got these folks. He got a JUCO in Georgia that is traditionally in the top 25 now. And my hat's off to him. I know all about Georgia Highlands now, and getting to know him just recently, I've definitely been impressed with, what I see out there. We had the head coach for Georgia Highlands College, one of the traditionally top 25 colleges in the country, Coach J.J. Merritt. How you doing today, brother? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Look, that just says that shows how. I was trying to mute it because I was listening to Tribbey. And I'm taking notes on Tribbey. Hey, that's my guy. So,
Tribbey's a good dude, man.
I didn't know.
Definitely, man. How you doing today, man?
Can't complain. Just got back. We had a little fundraiser event at the school, and just got back from that, and just trying to wind down the day and chop it up with you a little bit.
Absolutely. What I want to touch, and how ironic Tribbey went right before you. I was right there in Florida when Georgia Highlands played Florida Southwestern. And everybody in that building thought you were going to get ran out the gym.
Yeah,
and boy, did you shock a lot of people. And you know why? It was that lunch pail mentality. And to be honest, I think Florida Southwestern looked at it like, oh, we about to hit these guys off. And y'all came in there with that hard hat mentality. And I'm out there tweeting like crazy, like, hey, man, Atlanta's in the building. I said, Georgia Highlands about to win this one. And I start getting texts like, crazy. Oh, you see? I was like, bro, they're about to beat them. I said, Florida Southwestern thought they could turn it back on and get you guys, but you guys were just relentless and you wouldn't let that pressure off, man. And I was like, man, they're going to get them. And sure enough, you got them, man. I think that was a statement win early in the season already.
Yeah, I mean, that's just been our MO since I've been here, and it's just the pressure. I mean, we were out in Hutch, I think my second year here or third year, and we were leaving a pregame meal, and I ran into the actually opposing coach that we were going to play, and he said, I actually told my guys that they better be ready for the press as soon as they get on the bus, because that's what we're known for, man. It's just pressure and just playing hard, and if you're not ready for that, it could take you aback, and then once we get you like that, we try not to let up, and just keep grinding you down. That's why. I mean, I think that game I played maybe 13 guys.
Yeah, you did.
And, we just keep grinding, and eventually we just hope to wear you down, where at the end you're not making shots, and we're conditioned like that. That's how we practice every day, is full court. Every day is just up and down, up and down, up and down, and hopefully you're not conditioned like we are, and you'll start missing shots, and we'll continue to make them.
I left thoroughly impressed after that game, because I was just like, oh man, I was like, all right, Highlands. I was like, you ain't got Big Langston this year. I was like, come on, man. I was like, but when I left that game, I mean, I left with my chest out like, man, Atlanta's in the building. I was like, boy, this is a statement win here. I was like, I didn't think you guys were going to be like last year, to be honest with you. And what I saw, I was like, oh man, I was like, he had about 10 dogs out there just at it. I was like, boy, I was excited. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Look, I'm trying to stay, even keel, because I'm like, okay, I'm tweeting about both teams. But, under my breath, I'm like, come on now. And I'm just so happy for y'all, man, to see that happen, man. And, the other thing that blew my mind, just a quick side note, I had no idea your girls' team was that good too, man.
They are very good, and especially this year, they brought back everybody, and they actually just upset Shelton State, to start the season, and it's kind of like us, everybody talk about Langston and Kaheem Brown and Keandre Bowles, who are very, very, very special players for us. But what people don't understand is we did bring back 8 guys off of last year's team, and I did bring back my whole starting 5. Langston, Kaheem, nor Dre started for me. And so
that's crazy.
So that being said, I brought back my whole starting 5. I added 4 D1 transfers that I think are very high level, and I actually got added 3 JUCO transfers, and one of them, my 7-footer, played at Chipola last year, tore his ACL in the first scrimmage out at West Georgia, played 5 minutes and tore his ACL, and so So that one went down, but everybody stepped up, and but as far as we've been the underdog. It's just Georgia JUCOs. I mean, you could even look at the rankings today. We won and beat, I think, a quality team in CVCC, who Coach Ben does a great job, and we dropped in the rankings. And I just don't understand it. And so we've always been the underdog. Even when we went out to Hutch for our first year, made it to the Final Four. We were like the kind of this darling Cinderella team, and then the next year we went, 34-1 and went out to Hutch. And then, the next year we went 32-2 and, went out to Hutch. And I just don't see how we hadn't gotten a little bit more respect. But, hey, I love it, though. It motivates our guys. It motivates me. It never lets me, think that we've accomplished anything, because in actuality, we haven't, and it just drives me every day, drives the guys. I bring it up almost every day in practice. They don't respect you. They don't respect you guys, and those guys, they're dogs.
But Coach Brown, I got to respectfully disagree with that, and there's a reason why I'm going to disagree. Now, I was at the game, right?
Yeah.
So one of the biggest things about respect for a program, there was about 60 coaches watching that game. Now, if you guys were terrible, there'd be about maybe 3 watching. You know what I'm saying? But no, I had to shuffle to get a seat. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to mix and mingle with some of the coaches. I was like, man, I got to stand for this one. But man, that's a sign of respect. So even though I get what you're saying from a ranking standpoint, the respect is there because all those coaches were watching to see what you had.
Yeah.
So, that respect is there. Now,
as far as our players go, I think, for what we bring in, I think individually they have respect because we've sent 17 guys Division I in 5 years. And we had Langston Wilson, last year. He was a high major, number 2 JUCO player in the country.
Yeah.
We had Kaheem Brown, and just over the years, man, we had Trevin Wade, who went to Wichita State. We had Kevon Davenport, who went to Memphis. We had Ty Cockfield at Arkansas State. We've had some really good players over those years. So as far as players wise, but as far as just getting the respect as far as the team version of it.
Now I can agree with that. Like what you're saying, like you don't get that Dodge City love. You know what I'm saying.
Hey man, I'm just gonna laugh at that because Jake my guy. So
Jake's my guy too. But it's like Dodge City. That's like, oh, that's the Mercedes right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when people say Georgia Highlands, they're like, oh, respectable. In my mind, they're saying, oh, that's a nice little Camry. I can get to work with it. I can do something. But when it's Dodge City, everybody's like, oh, they go running. And understand, Jake does an amazing job there. But what I'm trying to say is you're on that level, is what I'm saying.
Now, I think it goes to our conference, just the respect they give. Florida Jukes, Kansas, Texas. Those are the big 3, and if you're in that state, they just automatically assume you're better than a Georgia JUCO. And that being said, it hasn't always panned out that way because we've been actually very, very successful against Kansas JUCOs, against the Florida JUCOs. We haven't played many Texas JUCOs, but that being said, we've been very successful. So I definitely I'm on the same page as you with saying I think me personally, and the people who would play against us will think we're on the same level as a Dodge City.
Well, you know what? I'll be the first to say this. Now, definitely shout out to you, but shout out to South Georgia Tech. Shout out to Central Georgia with Coach Rico Dawson. Rico does an amazing job too. So, we definitely got to give those people their flowers too, which strengthens the conference.
Yeah. South Georgia State, Corey Baldwin does a great job down there.
So, there's some great players, and I just look at it. Oh, y'all play Middle Georgia Prep?
We do.
Wow. Decent. I'm gonna have to put that on my schedule. I didn't know that. I appreciate that, Coach O'Neill. I didn't know that.
I'll tell you this. I started out as a prep guy. Me and one of my best friends, Cam Daly. We actually started.
Oh, Cam, yeah.
So we actually started ASA. which is now so we started that prep school, and before Tribbey, and we were the we had it a Tribbey-esque type deal. So when I say I have a great admiration for prep schools, and I always try to play one or two. We didn't last year because of COVID, but I always try to play one or two, and Middle Georgia Prep, because of just my respect for Tribbey. We always put them on the schedule. I know a lot of coaches that will run from playing Middle Georgia Prep.
Oh, yeah. And listen, after what I saw yesterday, I can see why. Man, he got two good teams, man. Like I said, I was at the Lawson State game 2 weeks ago where they beat Lawson at Lawson with the second team.
I heard.
With the second team. And listen, I'm out there tweeting out like crazy. And that's where a lot of y'all start hitting me back like, hey, what happened? I'll be like, hey, man, they can play.
Yeah, they're very good, very well coached. And, I look forward to that game. And those are games that, as a JUCO could be a trap game. But that being said, we don't try to take anybody light, and for us, it prepares us for even, games that, for the season, because there are games where it's highs and lows, and you can stay consistently high for any opponent. It doesn't matter if they're a prep school or a JUCO, then you have a great chance of winning a lot of ball games. And Middle Georgia Prep I don't consider them a prep school. I mean, to be honest, they're a JUCO team running around, with the prep school name. I mean, it's just look, that's what people used to tell us, is that, when we had ASA, me and Cam, people were like, you have a JUCO team. I mean, we beat Georgia Perimeter when we had that team, and when they were like,
and Georgia Perimeter used to be good.
Yep. And we beat them at Georgia Perimeter, and nobody could believe it. And, and so we actually beat Southern Union back in the day when they were good, and at Southern Union. And I don't look at them as a JUCO, where as a prep school, they're a full blown JUCO. I mean, shoot, they're housed out of Gordon. They got more housing than we do.
So is that at George Highlands?
It is.
Put me on the list, please.
I definitely, I got you.
Yeah, that's because I just looked while you were talking. That's a Wednesday. Put me on the list. I'll be there.
I got you. You'll be on there.
Okay. Man, so other thing I want to talk about, man, it's so crazy what you talked about this earlier, like, bro, what you bringing in there is it's crazy. You're bringing in D1 drop downs. You're bringing in high-level JUCO transfers to go with the starting five that's coming back. What are these poor high school kids going to do, man?
It's tough, man. I have a lot of great relationships with high school coaches.
Oh, I know you do, but I'm just saying where I was going. What you gonna do? Like,
they hit me up they hit me. I got guys you need to come check out and this and that. And I had to be honest with them. I said, we've stayed away from high school recently, and even if we don't get a JUCO transfer or a D1 transfer, we go the prep route, and what we found out, and I found this out early in my career here at Georgia Highlands, and in the JUCO world, it's better to stay older. And the the better prepared, for us here, and that's not where, because I've seen JUCOs that have a lot of freshmen and are really good JUCOs, but for us here, us being older has been created a lot of success for us, and so that's just the track record and the way we went, and I hate it, and that's why I think prep schools. I'll tell any kid to go take a year of prep, because I really do think that they are a kind of a good buffer. A couple years ago, we brought in, I think it was 2 or 3 high school kids, and at the break, not a single one of them was with us anymore because they couldn't cut it. I hate it. But
it's reality, man.
It is definitely reality, and
it's reality.
It's
not
reality.
just you, but you saying that from a JUCO is even. I mean, with your permission, man, I might have to cut that and play this back for people to hear this online. Like, man, we got JUCOs out here. Like, look, high schools, y'all not ready, and especially at Georgia Highlands. But now we're talking, and a lot of people are not even familiar with this. Like, a lot of these guys may have to go D2 or D3 JUCO.
Yes. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, actually, I've seen a lot of very, very good D2 JUCOs.
Oh yeah.
You know, but the thing is, I always try to tell people it's not the level. It's about the free money. You know, it's about the free education and also the development. You know, and so with that being said, we had a kid, Tyleek Evans, who, you know, he went D2, but he just became European. He was European Player of the Year this past year. You know, we had Donnell Dean go Division II. Donnell Dean was probably better than most mid-major guards in the country, but it's about free money, you know, and so you know, you know, and even with the JUCO level, it's just like Division I. You got Division.
And I was just getting ready to ask you. So I was being patient, and you're leading right into that. What people don't understand, man, you guys are playing high major basketball.
Yeah, just think about this. During the Florida State game, I mean the Florida Southwestern game, I could say on the court there was at least 10 Division I guys.
Yes, there was.
You could only put 10 on there. There was 10 Division I guys on the floor.
I'm gonna disagree with you because there was some guys on the bench that'll probably go D1.
No, I'm saying just on the floor at one time. Now, out of both teams, oh man, there was at least 15 to 16.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
on the floor from low major to high major. I mean, you know, the what is it? The David Nickelback kid is
Marcus Nyblack.
Nyblack, yes. Yeah, he's an unbelievable player, and I mean, they had some wings that were really good. The big was really good, and
because the wing, the four signed with New Mexico State. Jonathan DeSantos.
Yep,
he signed with New Mexico State.
So I mean, and you're looking at that game, and if I mean, honestly, if I'm a high school kid, I'm looking like, you know, I'm a competitor. I can compete, but can I really compete with the physicality? You know, with the, I mean, it's a different ball game. I mean, I got a kid who played at Dawn Prep last year, my 6'9" kid, and he played really well in that game, but this year, you know, he struggled.
It's a struggle,
because he played for a really good prep school.
But I'm gonna say this though, when you leave Georgia Highlands, that's why I said that earlier. I disagree with the respect. The coaches know what it is. The coaches know, and that's why there was 60 of them around that court watching that game. I mean, you had Georgia Highlands versus Florida Southwestern, like you said. You had 10 D1s, and you had D1s on the bench.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, I get totally what you're saying, like from a respect standpoint. All of us in Atlanta know what it is, and in Georgia, but, you know, a lot of times, unfortunately, people are still knocking Georgia JUCO as a league.
Yes, that was my thing right there. And I actually was talking to a coach earlier today when I saw the rankings come out, and I said, I texted him and I said, you know, just it's kind of baffling, you know, that we've had the success that we've had. Not just as me when I've been the head coach, but also when I was the assistant, not just in Georgia, but out in Hutch. We actually have the 9th best record in Hutch, period. You know, it's only been out of 9 games, but we have the 9th best record. We're 6-3 in Hutch. So that speaks for itself as far as the national component goes, you know. So you know, I think you know, we just have to just keep winning games, you know, and the out of conference game, just keep winning games. And I mean, it eventually I think the love will get there.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't even be worried about the love, because at the end of the day, when I ask this question and I say, hey, coach, where are all the kids going? And you're giving me that list, that love can wait. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but that's the big picture. Right.
Yeah, that is the big picture. Yeah, where you know, just getting the kids free education, and honestly, you know, we recruit guys who have the D1 dream, you know, and even the kickbacks, they want to go back Division I. Mm-hmm. And so with that being said, if we're allowed them to attain their goals and to reach their dreams, then we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Graduating kids, because, you know, even the kickbacks, once they come back, they still have to graduate, you know. And so so as long as we're graduating guys, and guys are going, you know, living out their dreams. I mean, I just talked to Langston Wilson the other day, and he was just telling me, you know, that this was like the best time of his life. And I'm just like, you know, I get butterflies and get all jittery. And I just was right before the podcast was talking to Kaheem Brown, and they're playing in Atlanta next weekend, and we were talking about tickets, and I'm gonna come see him play, and this and that, and bringing the whole team down there. So so as long as we're doing that for kids, then we're winning, and
Absolutely. So let me ask you this, man, and I gotta ask this. I mean, how many kids have you had that have went NAI?
maybe 4 or 5, maybe.
So everybody's went D1 or D2, basically.
Yeah. In 9 years, we've probably had maybe 4 or 5 go NAIA. We've had a couple that went Division I and dropped down to NAIA after they left the D1. So I'm including those as well.
Wait, what? So I was thinking, okay, so they went D1 and then they dropped down to NAIA. So just coming straight out of Georgia Highlands, let's go with that one first.
Probably had maybe 3.
And how long have you been there?
9 years. Yeah, this is my 9th year. Was 6 as an assistant. My 3rd year as a head coach.
Irrelevant. 3 NAIA players in 9 years. Man, that's crazy. You know how many dreams you just crushed like that right there.
Hey, look. Well, all I can say is that guys have goals, and we do everything we can to help them reach that goal. And if their goal is Division I, we're going to do everything in our power to get them Division I. And if it's Division II, then we don't knock on Division IIs. I mean, we just had a kid, Felix Gu, who's at Salem University now, which is Division II.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a big part of them. So
that's a fit, though. That's a fit.
Yes, it is definitely a fit, and he was very raw with us. When he came, he had trouble finishing around the rim, and when he left, he started games. I mean, he started in the conference championship game for me, 2 years ago. But he went D2, and I mean, great fit, and he's going to do something special there, and actually probably. Instead of fighting to go Division I, because he actually could have came back, had a free COVID year. Yeah. But he could have came back to try one more time to go Division I. But I thought that, and in my talks with him, to say that I thought that was a perfect fit, no matter if it's Division I, Division II. Like I told, we've had guys go Division II that are playing overseas right now.
But see, that's the long game. That's the long game that people don't understand. Like, sure, we can, like you said, they can come back and they can try and go D1, but they might not get those minutes to get the numbers to be productive to go overseas. Correct?
Correct.
So, and I know you preach this, but, sometimes that D1 or bust mentality is put gray hairs on my head to see some of these kids like, yo, go to the Peach Belt and put some numbers up. And it's not even a guarantee you're going to the Peach Belt and do that.
No, it's look, we scrimmaged Shorter University the other day, and they're not even, I mean, and I'm an alumni there, so I'm gonna be real, they're not even a top tier at this moment. They're gonna get there, but not a top tier Division II team. And there were guys on there, and our guys left, and we have a lot of Division I guys, Division I transfers, and they were like, them guys can play. And I said, I told you, they can really play the game of basketball. And so, like I said, it's all about your goals. And then at the end of the day, we have to sit down and have a real conversation before you leave. If that is not an attainable goal, to say where you're going to be successful, and at the end of the day, my exit talk is, let's go somewhere where first, you're going to be comfortable. You're going to, the relationship with you and the coach are going to be where you're going to be comfortable to play and and he's going to be able to get the best out of you. Then second of all, where can you go and get some time? Where can you go and get some clock? And so that's our talk track. But at the beginning, when we get them in here, because that is what they come and want to do here, is go Division I. And at the end of the day, our exit interviews are may have a different conversation, but until we're going to exhaust every option that we have to get them to that goal. That's their dream, and even like a Langston Wilson. Langston played no high school basketball. Langston came to me and had never played organized basketball, period. And but he told me, Coach, I want to go high major. And next thing you know, after 1 year, he had no offers. But he went, did some summer showcases, and next thing you know, the kid had 55 offers, and just blew up. But it was the work that he put in. It was the development, the skill development, the work, and also not just on the court, the classroom work he put in. So
yeah.
That's our goal. We'll and like I said, at the end of the day, if that's not a goal, I think they're going to go and get clocked, be successful to live out their ultimate, the long game, as you said. Then we'll have other options for them as well.
So which leads me to my last question, because man, you dropping some serious today. How involved are you in your kids' recruitment process?
I tell this to any coach I talk to. I never tell a kid where to go, because at the end of the day, that is his decision. And if it doesn't work out, I don't want to be the person that he looks at and says, Coach, I thought this was going to work out for me, and at the end of the day, I want him to take ownership of that decision. But what I do is I want to be, up to speed. I want the coaches to be able to reach out to me and build that relationship with them if I already don't have a relationship with that coach. And also tell the kid the pros and the cons. So like with Langston, all 55 offers that he got, I sat down and gave him pros and cons about every situation. And at the end of the day, he asked me and said, Coach, can you give me your list, your top 5 in your own thoughts? And then I'll give you mine, and we'll mesh them together. And that's what we did. And a lot of the stuff was the same. I had maybe 2 or 3 that was different than him. But at the end of the day, I just want to be involved so I can give them the full due diligence part of it, because they are 18, 19, 20,
yes.
20-year-old kids. And they can let some things, they can get glamored, and I haven't been around this arena long, but I've been around long enough. And I was a college basketball player myself that got recruited, where the glitz and the glamour can sometimes get you.
Yeah.
And I try to help my guys not get done by that, because, okay, one thing, guys can go Division I, or they can go to a school Division II or whatever. But the biggest thing I like to say is our guys stick. Once you go, you're sticking there. We had a kid that's at Troy right now, and when he first got there, it was a little tough for him, and he called, and like a lot of kids wanted to maybe change situations, and I told him that's not the way we do things, and I said, just stick it out, just stick it out, get back to who you are, and I guarantee you things will change for you. And the kid's still there now, starting, probably going to be one of their best players this year. Was one of their best players last year. And so, with all that being said, I'm involved, but I just want to be the person to give them the pros and the cons. Never going to tell a kid where to go. Let the kids have an open relationship with the coaches and build a relationship on their own. I just think that's the way to go about it, and it's worked for us.
I like it, man. And that speaks why you're where you're at right now, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why, I tease Tribbey about getting to Barnesville. So, I got to get on your head about getting up to Georgia Highlands. I was like, man, this is another drive, but hey, it's worth it. It's 100% worth it, man. I can't wait to get up there and see you guys play, man.
Anytime you're welcome, man. We'll roll out the red carpet for you. You like Starbucks, we'll have a Starbucks waiting for you. So whatever you need. It is a little drive. We are in the sticks a little bit, but that being said, we always enjoy anybody that comes to check out our program and support and recruit our guys.
And I have no problem saying this, man. Since I've gotten more involved in the JUCO space, last month was an eye opener. I went to Dallas, I went to Oklahoma City, I went to Florida, I went to Carbondale. I'm in. Man, I'm in because the level of talent. And when I saw Salt Lake City,
Very talented.
very talented.
Very
Very
talented.
I mean, but when I went to Florida, I mean, I got to see the Chipolas. I mean, I already knew about you guys. I'm watching, of course, I saw Dodge City and Oklahoma City, and I saw them in Dallas. Like when I was telling Dre, when I walked into Dallas, it was like, to me, walking into an EYBL event when I walked into Dallas. And to be quite honest, there was probably more coaches there than the EYBL. There was 300 coaches there. Yeah. I was like, I'm texting him like, man, this is crazy.
No, a lot of years ago, I used to go to the Peace Jam every year.
Yeah,
and the one down in Orlando, I haven't been to Dallas, but the one in Orlando, since they've put it on, has been very close.
Yes,
to the Peace Jam. And I mean, you got 90 schools and the best post-grad schools in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one year I was down there with Montverde, and they had that's when Scotty Barnes and all.
Oh
those
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
And they were down there, and I mean, I'm just like, these are kids. And the kid from Michigan that played Ilgaskis, or he played a big man from Michigan. He was playing on another team, and they're playing against each other. And then you got all the the big time JUCOs. I mean, even this year,
this year was great. This year was really good.
Hills come in. You had, I mean, you had schools that are predominantly a lot of times just stay out west or Midwest.
They was coming.
They came. Just like last year, we did an event at Gulf Coast, and we played South Plains, we played Chipola, and I was like, South Plains came all the way down there, and normally if we didn't make it to Hutch, we never had a chance to play at South Plains, and so.
That's why I'm big on them showcases. That's why I travel for them showcases. And I know it's a budget thing for JUCOs where you guys can't get to Texas per se, or, but you can get to Florida, or fortunately now we have a good one in Atlanta as well.
Yes.
For you to get to those. So, I make it my business because I get to see all the best teams before the year starts. And I'm like, hey man, you need to see this kid. Just like I saw the kid I've been raving about. He reminds me of Langston a little bit, maybe a little faster than Langston. The kid from Garden City, Muhammad Diallo.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, man, when I saw him in Oklahoma City, look, I'm texting everybody like, you got to see this guy. You got to see this guy. Man.
It's an eye-opener. And for people who've never watched, a lot of JUCO basketball, and I hope it's more and more people because of the live stream, because of COVID. Everybody's live streaming now, But if you've never sat and watched JUCO basketball, you don't understand, like you said, the talent level. And I put out in my tweets and my Facebook posts about guys and people in our own community. Come see these guys in person before you see them on TV. That is actually my tagline. When I put out my Facebook post about we have a game tonight, I say, come see him live before you see him on TV.
I will tell you this in closing to co-sign on what you're saying. I held an event in Orlando last year, and I raved about this young man, Jaquan Scott for Salt Lake City. When I say, they were in Florida, and what he did to Northwest Florida cemented what I was telling people. I was like, I told y'all, this is the real deal.
Hey, we played Northwest this year, so me being a basketball junkie and trying to think ahead, I wouldn't watch that game, and so
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly, and I actually watched that game, and I watched when they also played Eastern Florida, and
yes.
And
quick question for you: that Salt Lake Northwest Florida game. And I just want people to understand this. How many coaches watched that game?
Oh. It's put it like this. It was 2 rows deep around.
Yes.
It was unbelievable. It's like that and it was so many big time matchups. Scott did a great job of putting together the matchups where you had the coaches wanting to be, first and foremost, be there. They wanted to spend their budget to come be at that place.
Yes.
And then second of all, it was just, there was big time matches where you wanted to go see them. I mean, it was, It was one. I'm walking around as I'm trying to get my guys ready, prepared. I'm walking around scouting and looking at other teams, and I'm like, okay, this is a good game. This is a good game, and this is a good game. So, but it also, Corey Black does a great job as well. And the one
absolutely.
Georgia,
that's my guy, Corey Black. He does a great job too. And he does a great job with those matchups as well.
He does. And so his event, wasn't as big in the spectrum, but as far as the matchup quality, I think it was pretty good. When
y'all play USC Salk, I'll talk about that right there. When y'all play Salk at Corey Black's event.
Yeah. And that was a great game, and came down to the wire, and it's crazy because Black's sitting there watching the whole game, and afterwards he comes up to me and Coach Mayo and says, "Y'all need to make this happen in real life during the regular season."
That's what I was saying. Yeah,
he walked up to both of us. He said, "Come here," and he called us and he said, "Y'all need to make this happen in real life during the regular season." And budget wise, we couldn't get up there this year, but But man, whenever we get a chance, we don't shy away from anybody. We just don't, man. We're going down for Thanksgiving and playing Indian River, Eastern Florida, and State College Florida.
I love Indian River. They're another one.
Yeah. So I mean, we're going to Chipola and playing Chipola and Gulf Coast. We're going to Gulf Coast, playing Gulf Coast in Northwest Florida. So we'll play anybody. Shoot, if you want us to come out to Cali, just help us out with our budget, and we'll come. We don't care. We'll play anybody. So
I hear you. Hey man, I can't wait to see you guys play, man. And I'm not just coming to the Middle Georgia prep game. Like I said, since I'm more deeply involved in this, man, you might as well have my seat ready up there now, man.
Hey, I will tell you this: November 19th, 20th, and 21st, we have a classic we call the Dana Davis Classic after one of our professors up here that died, that passed away. But we have us, Chipola, State College of Florida, all playing in a classic over a 3-day span.
19th, 20th, and 21st, right?
Of November.
I'm looking right now. I'll be in Orlando from the 15th to the 19th. Count me in on the 21st.
Okay.
Count me in. Definitely count me in on that one, man. I can't wait. Like I said, man, I've already seen you guys once, so I'm feeling to see again now, man. You know what I'm saying? The job you do up there is, man, number one, it just cements Georgia basketball from high school to Tribbey and post grad to what you're doing at Georgia Highlands to my next guest with Coach Ireland is doing at Dalton State, man.
Great job.
We are so fortunate to have some of the best coaches out. And to be quite honest, we got some good tournament directors. CB does a great job too as well.
Yes.
So we have, and we're not going to talk about what Sean does for, on the radar and stuff.
On the radar stuff. And
we have the gauntlet of, we have a nice team here in Georgia that I stack up against anybody.
Oh yeah. I was just actually texting with the Pac twins with the Double Trouble Invitational coming up. There's another, just a big
up and coming.
Yeah. So it's a good day and age in Georgia basketball, not just at the JUCO level, at high school, and I really think Amir's gonna get it rolling over there at Kennesaw
State.
So
Coach Lanier doing it at Georgia State.
And
watch. I promise you, we'll talk about this in a couple years. Watch what Coach Alexander does at Clayton State.
Okay.
Watch. Give it a moment. Let him get his guys in there. Watch. I fully believe in him.
I know Clayton State has a lot of resources and they have a good setup. So, and I think they got the right guy in there. And I definitely think that, I met him for the first time down at Corey Black's event in West Georgia. And,
yes.
I just think, he's going to do a bang up job down there, just as Coach Ireland when he took over for Coach Engel up at Dalton State. I remember when, we played him a couple years ago, and I thought we had a really good team. We actually made it to the championship game of our conference, and we went up there, and I look up at the scoreboard, and Dalton State's up on us by 40. And I'm like, whoa. Oh, so so that's the job that they're doing, and that's an NAIA level,
Yes, it is.
And
yes, it is.
so all levels in Georgia. And if you don't get a chance, not just Georgia Highlands, please check out. Anybody that's tuning in, check out Georgia JUCO basketball. It's
Yes.
not just Georgia Highlands, but there are a lot of good teams out here, and I just like I said, great day and age for Georgia basketball.
Definitely, Coach. Well, I'm gonna see you real soon in a couple weeks, a couple times.
Yep.
And man, I just wanted to bring you on because, man, you are a traditional power now. And forget the love. Let's just go with facts. You guys are a traditional power, and you guys are here to stay, man. And man, I just thank you so much for coming on to the show, man. It's definitely won't be the last time. Man, I love what you're doing up there, man.
I thank you. I thank you for inviting me on, and anytime, just ask, and I'll be on.
Absolutely, man. You have a good one, man, and we'll be in touch real soon.
All right, thanks.
All right, take care, Coach. Hey, man, Coach Merritt, man, I could have ran even further with him. Like I said, the lineup I got today is just a blessing. Between Samantha being up and coming, Coach Tribbey, what he's doing at Middle Georgia Prep. Now y'all see what Coach Merritt is doing at Georgia Highlands, and it's an eye-opener for you high school guys. It's a big eye-opener, and it's going to be even more of an eye-opener for our next guest, because you think, oh, well, I'm just going to go to NAI and throw up 35. You're wrong. My next guest just went up there to see him play as well. Respectable program, becoming a power in due time in NAI. We got Coach Alex Ireland. How you doing today, Coach?
Coach, I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Look, I didn't have my dream team today, and I done ran over. Thank you for being patient, man.
No problem at all.
You're my post guy, so we got to end it with bringing it to the post and go ahead and get the last couple buckets. You know what I mean?
There you go.
So, man, as you know, Madre and I just came up there to see you guys play the other day when you guys played Oakwood, and you guys got a solid team. You guys are a nice, solid team. And, I wanted to bring you on here because as well as I know, and even talking to you, people don't understand the level of NAI basketball. A lot of people think they just going to come to you as a last stop. You know what I'm saying? And that's so far from the truth. So far from the truth. Because, man, you're getting drop downs. You're getting JUCO players. You're getting killers as well. And people have to wake up and understand. Like, when you were just explaining to me, oh, this guy came from here, this guy came from here, I was like, what? Wait a minute. I was like, you're doing the same thing everybody else is doing. I mean, and I understand it's the lay of the land and the way, basketball is moved to, but you're getting just as quality players dropping to you and saying, hey, I want to play here. And now you can't even take the ones, all of them that are asking you now. Now you're like, hey, man, I'm full. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, and I just want, number one, thank you for coming on the show. But number two, man, you're another guy I can sit up here and talk 30, 40 minutes to, because, the other night when we talked, man, I was getting sleep. I was like, okay, I got a long drive.
I know. We were in there for like an hour and a half, man.
I know. But, man, I just want you to touch on pretty much what, Coach Merritt was touching on, man. Like, the type of kids you're getting and the type of kids you're having to turn away, so that our listeners can understand this is not a walk in the park. On the NAI level, like, there's some great, like I was tweeting out during the game, this is high level basketball with great facilities.
Oh, it's absolutely, people don't understand, and I think a lot of it, Coach Merritt touched on, like, some of the webcasts and broadcasting games that started to happen in the last 3 to 4 years. But prior to that, just nobody sees. You can't turn on the TV and turn on an NAI game. You can't turn on the TV and turn on a Division II game. And, as somebody who's coached, I coached Division I in this state. I coached Division II in this state. I coached NAI in this state. And, there's really good basketball everywhere, and I just don't think people understand that. I look forward to kind of giving people kind of a view into what we've been able to do at Dalton State that's made us so successful. I think few and far, we tell this to recruits a lot, and I think few and far between understand. COVID year notwithstanding, in the 7 years we've had basketball at Dalton State, there is not a single 4-year program in the state of Georgia that's won more games than us. We're the only program to win a national championship in that span. There's not a single 4-year program in Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, North Carolina, or South Carolina that's won more games than us in the last 4 years. That's Division I, II, or III, or NAI. Not a single 4-year program that's won more games than us. We've had had 18 All-Americans in 6 years. We've had 18 All-Conference kids in 6 years. We've had 12 All-Americans in 6 years. So we average 2 All-Americans a year, average almost 3 All-Conference kids a year. And so it's a really competitive, really high level of basketball. We were, 2 years ago, the year that COVID started, when we ended our season before we went to the national tournament, but we were 30-3. We were a number 1 seed in the national tournament, and we were one of only 8 teams in the country at all levels to win 30 games. 4-year programs, I'm sorry.
So let me ask this on top of what you're saying. How many kids, we'll just go with your tenure being there. How many kids have left Dalton State and went on to play professionally?
And my tenure's this is going into my 4th year as a head coach. So I think we have 3 or 4 that have gone on to play pro in the last 3 years. Okay.
And even before your tenure, do you know?
I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I know we had 3 kids that did it off the national championship team alone.
Okay.
I think we had 1 or 2 the year after. So we've had quite a few that have gone to play pro.
And as you were probably listening, people don't understand. I mean, like when I was talking to Coach Merritt, sure, you can go D1, but if the long game is you trying to play overseas, you got to go somewhere where you're productive. Whether it's at Dalton State, whether it's at a Peach Belt school, whether it's at a D3 school, whatever the case may be. When I had Emory's coach on last week, I asked the same question. They were like, yeah, we've had some kids that go pro. So let's look at what we're talking about. Out of Georgia, we have kids coming out of D2s, D3s, and NAI that are going to play professionally. So now it becomes a fit of where you fit, because sometimes, we have those dreams the kids have the dreams of, I want to be D1 or bust or whatever the case may be. And they think they're a failure if they go NAI. So, it's just one of them things, just leading into this next question. Tell me about Tony Ingle.
We do a whole podcast on that alone. Tony Ingle is a 2-time national champion. He passed. We lost him in February. He passed away in February from COVID.
Yeah.
But he's a 2-time national champion. He won a Division II national championship at Kennesaw State in 2004, and then won the NAI national championship in 2015 at Dalton State. Here's how good of a coach Tony Ingle is. We started athletics here in 2014 at Dalton State, or restarted athletics. We had a JUCO program in the 70s, and then they did away with all sports for a couple of years, brought back athletics in 2014. Tony Ingle made a team out of scratch, went out and won 26 games in his first year of eligibility, or his first year of having a team. Now, that team was not able to go to the postseason because it was their first year of having a team. There was no trouble or anything. It was just their first year of having a team. His second year, he wins 32 games and wins the national championship in his first year of postseason eligibility. He was a far better person than he was a coach. He was a hell of a coach.
Gosh, it's funny. I wanted to touch that, just getting off of what we were talking about, because people don't understand the coaching we have in Georgia.
No,
That's what people understand from high
well,
school.
people just don't see the levels. The availability to watch the games is so few and far between. It's not anymore, but we're just not. We haven't had enough years of watching these games to really get acclimated to what the level is. I mean, guys like JJ down at Georgia Highlands, and Corey Baldwin at South Georgia State, and Rico Dawson at Central Georgia Tech, Mike Helfer at Valdosta State. The team that's won the second most games in that 7-year span is Valdosta State. He's won his conference
and nobody
title
knows about Valdosta.
He's won his conference title 5 years in a row. He's on.
You're talking about the Gulf South, yes. Right? Yeah.
He's won the Gulf South regular season 5 years in a row. He's on a 5-peat. So people just don't, and that's where I did my GA work, is down there for Coach Helfer. And so I've been fortunate to work for some really good coaches, but people just don't understand, man, how good the coaching and how good the basketball is at this level.
I mean, man, even your counterpart, man, Coach Easley at Life.
Yes. Coach does a great job down there.
I mean, you guys, there's great coaching on every level. And, I just wish we could just get people out of this mentality. Oh, I got to go big time D1, or I can't go big time D1.
Here's the thing though. I would never want to tamper down a kid's dreams. I would never want to tamper down a kid's ambition. I think it's great that kids want to play at the highest level they can.
Sure.
I think it's great. Like, they're chasing the dream. That's what they should do. To be honest with you, I don't know how many kids I would want who are like, I just don't really want to play Division I. I don't really think I'm good enough. I don't really care. Most of our
when
kids.
When does reality set in, Coach?
Well, I think you have to be cognizant as you're going through, your senior year of high school, or your junior year, or your sophomore year of JUCO, where you kind of see where your recruiting is at. But for us, Coach, to be honest with you, a lot of the transfers we've had, it hasn't been because they're not good enough to play at those levels. A lot of them have played at those levels, but it's more about fit, or it's more about situation, or it's more about, maybe they go to a Division I and they're more than talented enough to play there. The situation just didn't work for them, or they had family issues. The really cool thing about NAI that a lot of people don't understand is we don't have a clock. Okay, Division II doesn't have a clock either, but we don't have a clock. And so we get a lot of kids that are on their second, third, and fourth chance. So we've got kids who have gone to school and then left school to take care of a family member, or gone to school and their mind wasn't in the right place, and so they had to take a year off and join the workforce and work for a living and learn to be more appreciative of the opportunities they have. And so you kind of get kids sometimes when they're down and out, and you're able to kind of reach them better than you are maybe that first time around. And I think for us, we've had kids that have come to us more for a better experience than what they've had at Division I, or for a second chance. And you're able to kind of mold those kids a little bit better. And I think they've been rewarded with their experience, and we've obviously been rewarded by the opportunity to coach them as well.
Absolutely. We could touch so much on NAI basketball because, like I said, there's some great players that come out of there. And I'm not even talking Dalton State. I mean, we can go across Georgia. We can go across to some of the other NAI schools. Talladega has a nice program there as well. And like you said, it's because people don't see them on ESPN. Hopefully, like you said, with live stream, it will start to get better and people will start to be like, hey.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I mean, I'll give you the old cliche that everybody knows. Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen were both NAIA guys.
Yeah,
I mean, there have been a ton of NAIA guys that have gone on to play at very, very high levels. It's just about fit and opportunity, and honestly, a lot of it's about where a young man is when he gets to that level, where he is in his development, kind of what his life experiences are, and how prepared he is to take advantage of opportunities and things like that.
So let me ask you this. So this touches into my next question. What do you do different than a D1 program?
I'll tell you this. I don't have the resources a Division I program has.
Okay.
So what I do is, and I always tell my kids two things. I tell them, first and foremost, if you want to be the best player you can be, come to Dalton State. Because while I don't have the resources Division I has, I'm going to spend every bit of my budget buying you the best gear I can buy you, feeding you with the best food I can give you, taking you to the best restaurants I can take you to on the road, putting you in the best hotels I can put you in, and giving you the best opportunities I can. So we have a gun, we have a gun shooting machine like everybody else has. We have 2 gyms that we use. We have access to another gym here in town. We have a lot of the things that Division I programs have. And to be honest with you, the things we don't have, we try to make up for with good old fashioned elbow grease. I've heard a lot of colleagues say like, well, we don't do individual workouts because I don't have time for them, or we don't do this because I don't have time for them. And for us, that's just, okay, well, those are the things we have to do. So how do we make time for them? So, that means we may lift at 8 a.m. It means we may practice at 8 p.m. It means we may practice at 6 a.m. But we're going to get those things in. We're going to lift 3 times a week. We're going to get skill development in. We're going to get shots up. We're going to get film in. We're going to get practice in. We're going to do those things to make you the best player you can be. Because the one thing I don't want is I don't want guys leaving here and saying, well, they cheated me, or, they just passed me along, or they didn't give me a chance to be the best I could. That's our selling point.
Well, I will co-sign on that. It's evident your players are in the weight room, because when I saw, what's the big guy's name?
Muhammad Abubakar.
Man, when I saw him,
and you know what? He's an Aaron Tribbey product.
Really?
Played for Coach Tribb.
Listen, hey, well, that makes all the sense in the world. Like, I don't know which. Look, I'm gonna report Tribbey because, like, when I saw, it was funny. Like, I was talking to, when I had him earlier, there was another guy. He has Big Josh that plays for Morehouse, and he's a bigger version of what you have. And I was like, what are they doing down there to have those kids just, huge. Like that was the first thing I saw when I came to your game. I was like, that kid's huge.
Yeah. They're actually right over there lifting right now.
I can only imagine what he has on the bar right now. Jeez, he's huge.
We track. I mean, we, as part of our skill development, we do pre-test and post-test. So we do weight, body fat, 1 rep maxes, and like deadlifts and back squats and verticals. We had like an average in our 6-week fall, or close to 12-week fall program. We had close to a 3-inch average vertical increase. We had as high as a 6-inch vertical increase in 12 weeks. About 125 pounds, I think, was the biggest increase in deadlift. And so, the guy we work with is phenomenal. I mean, we have a Division I collegiate weight facility with turf. We have AstroTurf. We have all the racks. We have TRXs. We have kettlebells. We have everything that you could possibly want. And the guy that is our strength and conditioning coach is from here. He's from Dalton, but he played football at North Carolina State. Okay. And so he's certified with a program called Parisi Speed School. And they work on, the thing that scares me sometimes with football coaches doing weights is you think you're going to have a bunch of middle linebackers out there when you hit the court. But, Coach Haynes does a really good job of working on speed and change of direction and form and flexibility and pliability and injury prevention and all those things, so that not only do we look like Mo does, and like some of the guys that you saw the other night. But we also can move, we can jump, we can slide, we can bend so that we don't get hurt. So like I said, we really put a lot of time and effort and resources into making sure we have, we're able to be the best physically so that we can be the best on the court.
That's big. That's big time, man, and it pays dividends. Like when I was talking to Tribbey earlier, so I went to the Middle Georgia TSF game last night, and to be honest, that was the difference. It went to double overtime, and in double overtime, you can see TSF starting to wither a little bit because they were starting to miss shots. Fatigue started to set in, and Tribbey and them were still that same go at it, go at it, go at it. And that's what got them the W, to be honest with you. I mean,
that's absolutely
talent-wise, it was pretty much even.
Fatigue makes cowards out of us all, my friend. That has never changed.
You're right about that. And, it was funny because it was tied at 84 going into double OT. Tribbey and them put up 20 points in double OT.
Yeah, we had a game like that 2 years ago. The year we were 30-3, we were at a conference school, Bethel. We were actually playing to break the record for most consecutive wins in school history, and we were down 7 with a minute and a half. We tied it, and then went in overtime. Scored the first 10 points in overtime. It was over a minute and a half in overtime, just because we kind of hit that wall where they tried to put us away, and they couldn't. And then once we sent it overtime, they were done.
They were gassed.
Mentally, well, not only gassed, but they were mentally checked out because they had given their best and they couldn't put us away. And we were able to kind of push through and play fresh in overtime, and they were toast.
Yeah, I'll be the first to say, like you say, with you guys working out like that a couple times of the week, there's a good chance that one of these games upcoming that you guys have, that's going to pay big dividends because, I mean, to be honest with you, Oakwood came out hot to start the game. They came out hot. I was like, and I was like, gosh, they shooting the lights out. But when they hit that wall, it got ugly fast.
Yeah,
fast.
They can do that.
Yeah, and that's just and that's no knock to them. But like you said, nobody knows when they're going to hit that wall and then they're spent. You know what? I will tell you, when Big Guy went out, changed everything. And he had to sit for a long period of time. And it wasn't foul trouble. He just, he needed a moment.
That's right. Yeah, he just needed a break.
Yeah, he needed a break. So, and you guys went to work from there. So by the time he got back in the game, it was over by that time. And he gave his effort to try and get him back in the game. But, that's a great analogy is what I'm thinking of. Like, you guys are in the weight room and, that was the pivotal point right there. Like, they just didn't have what you guys had, plain and simple. And, if you watch the tape, you just say, hey, we got to get in the gym, but we got to get in better shape too. That's just what it is.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
One of the other things I want to touch on as well, and, we talked about some of this in our lengthy talk after the game. People don't understand, and you opened my eyes on this as well. Like, you guys are one of the lowest costing tuition-wise in the state.
Yes, in the country. Top 5 in the country.
In the country.
In terms of
not bad in
least,
the country.
In terms of least expensive tuition. And so it's a great education and it's extremely affordable. And it's just a really good place. And I think we could all benefit from more people kind of seeing what we do up here.
And so, and I wanted to touch on this real quick as we wrap up. Of course, NAIs have a budget. You have, is it 8 or 9 fools?
8.
You have 8 fools.
And that's the nationwide limited NAI.
Okay, so with you having 8 fools, a lot of times you have to cut those up with kids that sometimes have good academics, some that have full pals, some that can do work study. And shoot, we spent a good minute talking about that. And when I left, you had me just like, oh, man, I need to get on my game, because some of the stuff you were just enlightening me to, and we don't even have to go into all of that, but just the way, you guys are creative to make packages work. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the biggest things that people don't understand, because, we all sit up here and talk about D-free. And I'm an advocate for that. Don't get me wrong. But
Sure.
at the end of the day, if I can go to Coach Ireland and all I owe is $1,500, I'm taking that.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you go down to Kennesaw and pay $22,000 a year. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
I think one of the coolest things about NAI that people don't understand, and I tell like even our boosters and people on our program, like, get to know these kids because their stories are fascinating. Whether
Yes.
it's, like I said, the kid that takes 2 years off because his mother gets sick, or there's a million different, the kid that hurt his leg and was out 2 years recuperating and came back and hurt it again, and so he hasn't played in 3 years, so he's a little bit older. There's so many fascinating stories, and part of that is kind of what they do and how they get to college and how they get through college, because we get to kind of a level of purity at NAI that I think a lot of times gets missed at the Division I level, right? The Division I level, you're coming, you're getting full scholarship, probably getting cost of attendance. You're not paying anything. You have no worries in the world. You're just kind of a machine that goes to school and plays sports, and you just play and play and play and play, and it's all wrapped up for you. You barely pick out your classes. You have student athletic academic success starts doing all this stuff for you. These, kids at our level are real kids. And they learn on the fly, and they learn work habits, and they learn study habits, and we've had kids work in the cafeteria, we've had kids work as RAs, we've had kids do all different kinds of things, jobs that regular college students do, and there's kind of a level of humanity to it and an intimacy to it that you miss at some of the other levels. And I love the other levels. Like I said, I coached Division II 2 years. I coached Division I like 5. I've coached high school a year. Like I've been everywhere, almost everywhere you can be in the state of Georgia in terms of different levels of basketball. But I think for us, where there's a will, there's a way, and I'm always going to try to do everything I can to present the best package I can for each kid. Some of our internationals don't get any Pell, so they have to be a little more creative in where they work. They might ref intramural games, or like who knows what they can do in order to make some money to help pay for tuition to give them a chance to be in college. And I think what gets missed, like even with the international kids, is, there's one country in the entire world where somebody can go to college and play sports at the same time. That's the United States. There's no other country in the world that you can do that. When you graduate high school, anywhere else in the world, you're either working or you're playing professional sports. Or you're either going to school or you're playing professional sports. That's it. There's no other opportunity in the world. And so that's why, and all of us college coaches will attest to it, we get 50 emails a day from kids throughout the world that want to come play college basketball in the United States.
Yeah.
And so they're really motivated to do that. And if that means they work a little bit, if that means they do work study, if that means they do all kinds of cool things, as do some of our domestic students who maybe don't get full Pell, they get partial, or whatever the case may be. But it's really cool to kind of sit down and package these things together and try to make things work to give kids a chance to live out their dreams athletically, but also to earn their education.
So with all this, and as we're wrapping this up, I just want people to understand what type of program you're running and having to do all this. Where do you guys pick this year preseason?
This year we were picked about the lowest we've ever been picked, which was 6th.
Okay. So, but traditionally you have a strong program, but even with that, like you said, in NAI, you have to be creative to make all of this work. And that's all I'm trying to touch right here, so people understand that.
I mean, like I said, we've won more games in the last 7 years, last 6 years, COVID year notwithstanding, because that was just kind of a mess. But we've won more games than any 4-year school in Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina. And that's where I stopped looking, to be honest with you. But that's any 4-year school. So that's more than North Carolina, more than Duke, more than Georgia, more than Georgia Tech, more than Florida, Florida State, Miami. It's more than any of those four-year schools.
But okay, so let me ask this, and I know I'm just full of questions when it comes to this. So as we're talking about you winning these games. Unfortunately, a lot of times you have to wait in the recruiting battle until after the D1s and D2s get theirs, and a lot of times, it's not what's left, but when the kids realize, hey, I'm not going here, but Coach Ireland, was interested in me. So a lot of times you're waiting till May or June, correct?
A lot of
April,
times
May,
we're waiting
June.
until August.
You're waiting till August.
Late July or August sometimes.
So after live period, basically.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times we're getting kids in 2-3 weeks before school. And the majority of our recruiting class, we're getting April, May, June. But there's always a couple of guys that you wait for until July or August.
But boy, okay, but that's changing because, man, you're getting dropped down. So we're getting closer to the point of, when it gets July or beginning of August, unless it's a drop down of that nature. And I say this because I want people to understand this, just like I was when I had Coach Merritt on here. You're telling kids, no, unfortunately, we can't take you at this time because I just took a D1 drop down or D2 drop down or a transfer or a middle Georgia prep kid. So I just want people to understand how tough it is to even get to your program because it's no slouch, is what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's I get probably 10 emails a day from kids that just want to transfer, want to come here, high school kids, high school juniors, seniors, whatever. But it's just a really high level of basketball. CFL. It's just a really high level of basketball, and I think it's an opportunity that sometimes people don't realize right away. They don't realize how hard it is to play any level of college basketball.
Yes.
They just think, they just see what they see on TV and they think that's what it is, and unfortunately that's not it. That's not all there is. And so for us, it's not necessarily about like the drop downs. It's not necessarily about getting D1s. For us, it's about finding the best fit. And sometimes that's a kid that played JUCO. Sometimes that's a local kid that played high school. Sometimes that's a kid, that is a D1 or D2 bounce back. Sometimes it's a guy that bounces back to Coach Merritt and thinks he's going to go back to Division I or wants to go back to Division I, and the opportunity just doesn't work itself out. And that's some of the times where we end up getting kids in July or August is when their opportunities don't work out, and for one reason or another, an opportunity with us and another kid doesn't work out, and so we both have openings late, and we're able to kind of make things work. But we try really hard to make sure we get the best fits and the best kids. We get kids that want to be at Dalton State, and inevitably you will have some kids that are bounce backs that say, I don't want to go NAI. They say, I want to go Division I, I want to go Division II, and that's fine. I want them to be where they want to be, but I don't want to bring people here that don't want to be here. I'd rather have kids that maybe are a little less talented but want to be here and are invested in being here and are going to play hard and produce, and they want to be road runners. And that's the formula that's always been successful for us.
And I couldn't agree with you more on that. But, sometimes it's just heartbreaking to see that kid to sit up here. I mean, as you know as well as I know, most of his options are exhausted. And then they say, I don't want to be here. And then, they're trying to latch on to a walk-on spot.
It's I've always been told when it's meant for you, it'll come to you. And sometimes we're not ready for the opportunities we have when they're ready for when they come to us. And sometimes we got to kind of learn the hard way. And that's part of what we do, right? And that's part of what college is taking kids and giving kids a safe environment to experiment, to make mistakes, to learn, to grow up. And sometimes it just doesn't work out. And You know, or and a lot of times it doesn't work out how you plan it to. I mean, can't tell you how many times throughout my career I've had jobs that I really, really wanted and I didn't get them and I was devastated, but then ended up getting jobs that fit me better and were able to put me in a position to be a head coach at the age I am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, man, as you know, man, we could sit up here. I'm at home now, but we could sit up here and chop this up, you know. But hey, Coach Ireland, I definitely want to bring you back on in the future,
for sure.
because at some point I want to get a panel together so, you know, people can understand just the seriousness. And sometimes I want to go with, I would like to get you guys like some of the stories you got with some of these kids, and you know, whether it was a situation that worked out or a situation that didn't work out. And I just think it would help some of these kids understand, like with Coach Merritt. I mean, man, he was like, in the years he's been there, let's forget high schools. Like, he has 3 or 4 kids that went NAI. That just totally blew me away. I'm like, I thought of you. Like, I'm like, my gosh, it's hard for you to even grab some of those kids.
Well, and like Coach said, you know, we played them a couple of years ago. We beat them pretty handily, and they were really good. And still, even after that, Coach, getting some of those kids like trying to break into Fort Knox, man. It's because they're really talented. They're always really talented and well coached, but they have dreams. Now, sometimes they go off and they come back. You know, sometimes stuff happens. Sometimes their life dictates kind of a different path than what they have. But yeah, it's hard.
But I almost want to clip that, Coach Ireland. Like, I want to clip that part and then come back and clip the next part to say he's only had 3 or 4 kids that went NAI, but they went to Dalton State and got killed.
Yeah, they were really good that year too, and we were too. I mean, we finished in the Sweet 16 of our national tournament in a year where we had 3 season-ending injuries. But yeah, I mean, we were really good that year as well, and so were they. And I think people just don't see it.
How crazy is that, though, man? I mean, I still have trouble, like, taking away from this podcast today that's been great. That's going to be something I go and lay down with, like, okay, they have an amazing program. We all can agree on that. You know, traditionally top 25 program in JUCO. They went to Dalton State and got drove, and only 3 of those kids have went NAI. It's hard to just wrap the logic on that.
Coach, and it's a common theme for us. I mean, Coach, we've traditionally, in the 4 years I've been here, we've beaten some JUCO programs that have gone to Hutch and beaten them pretty handily. But a lot of their kids still go higher than us. And some of it, to be fair, Coach, is that a lot of their kids are freshmen and sophomores. And a lot of our kids are juniors.
And that's true.
And age does matter, and maturity level does matter. And experience does matter. So, but yeah, it's certainly a little bit of a difficult thing sometimes when you go back to recruit those kids, and they you know, the minute they get a Division I offer, they're gone, or the minute they get a Division II offer, they're gone. Yeah. And you're like, I've been recruiting you for 3 months, and we beat the crap out of you.
You're right. Hey, man, listen, I so appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate you having me.
Appreciate
you having me, Coach.
You know, this isn't going to be the last time we see each other, as we both know. And matter of fact, I got to get the rest of your schedule too, because I want to see some more games.
I'll shoot it too.
I love that facility. I'm just, that was another thing I want people to understand.
It's a really unique place to play.
Yeah, that facility was amazing, and I tell people this all the time. There's NAI and D2 facilities that will kill some D1 facilities, and yours is one of them.
Absolutely. I appreciate you saying that.
No problem, man. You have a good evening, man. Like I said,
too, Coach.
We're definitely going to talk some more, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. You take care, okay?
Yes, sir. You too.
All right. That was Coach Ireland from Dalton State College, man. If you guys take away anything from this podcast tonight, man, especially you high school kids and you parents that are watching, I think it was great that the way it was lined up, how we had Coach Tribbey at Middle Georgia Prep, to, Coach Merritt at Georgia Highlands, to, Coach Ireland at Dalton State. Like, nothing changes when you go to these levels. Either you're going to put in the effort to make it to be successful in these levels, or you're not going to make it. And that's just what it is. And it's really hard for you guys in high school, really hard. It's starting to lean towards you guys are having two choices. If you don't get that college offer, either you go post-grad or you go JUCO, because unfortunately a lot of colleges want to go older and more experienced. And that's why we're in this era we're in right now. But again, I'm going to keep harping on this, but what I also want to harp on is it's not the end of the world for you guys, especially you high school guys that have really good grades. The ones that have really good grades, please start looking into some D3 options or just JUCO D2 options as well. As I'm going to bring some JUCO D2 coaches onto the podcast, and I'm also going to change some things as well where people have not been aware. I'm going to bring a Canadian coach on here real soon, because there are Canadian universities that are looking for kids from the United States that also pay, in general, 75% of your tuition as well. So again, this whole podcast is about education and just pointing you guys in options that you never considered before. So keep tuning in. Thank all four of you coaches. You guys were amazing tonight. Next week's show, episode 36, we got some good coaches coming on as well. And we're going to continue harping about this education thing, as well as how tough this competition is on every level. You guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you guys later. We're out for Hoops Hidden Gems podcast. Take care.